Welcome back to Central News. Recruitment in the Bay is changing frequently, especially with the PSA outbreak in kiwifruit, not only affecting the fruit but the entire industry. First Call Recruitment Managing Director Phil Van Sype tells Central News more about the state of the job market. Phil, how would you describe the state of the job market in the Bay of Plenty?
We're currently very busy at the moment. For example, last month we placed 78 people into different roles around the Bay, with a variety of roles, everything from engineering to labour to management and even business ownership. So we haven't really felt the effects, but it's a fluctuating system. 1 minute we're really super busy, and next minute we're a little bit quiet. So it's definitely inconsistent. We're not getting the levels that we normally have of continuous work that we want.
And can that be contributed to anything in particular, or is that just the way things go?
A little bit to do with the whole economics of not only New Zealand but overseas. Definitely a little bit to do with the PSA and the kiwifruit element that has put a lot of uncertainty into local businesses. We supply a lot of, although we don't directly supply kiwifruit, there's a lot that we do supply in regards to engineering and all the sort of services that supply to the kiwifruit industry, and they have been affected. You know, they aren't taking the orders like they normally do. They're all sort of shuffling around trying to beat each other, and the available contracts are out there. We haven't really felt the full effects yet, but I imagine that you can't knock out that size industry and not feel the effects sooner or later. So it will happen for sure.
Yeah, the ripple effects will keep coming, not just affecting the kiwifruit itself, but
yeah,
the whole entire industry.
Yeah, no, we imagine that next year is going to be a little bit tough for some areas, but we've been very lucky and locally in the fact that we've got the likes of the Te Puke bypass, the TEL project, which we supply a lot of staff to, and that will counterbalance a lot of the effects for us. Some of our other industries are doing extremely well. We supply everything from dental manufacturers to management roles in all sorts of different companies, and that seems to be still going on track to not have huge effects for us. But we're the largest here in the Bay, so we've got 11 staff based in this office alone, and the work just keeps piling in at the moment. But it is a little bit of the old Christmas rush, as we know, so hopefully it continues that into next year. But we already have some very good things we have earmarked for next year that will keep a lot of people employed. And
that will prevent from having a slump in the job market in 2012?
I can't say that we won't feel some slump for the region, because I think the kiwifruit industry employs thousands of people, so we can't counterbalance that. I mean, we employ hundreds ourselves who are directly employed by us, but that will change a little bit when it comes to the fact that. But you've got to remember the market that these people deal with, the kiwifruit industry. A lot of it's tourists who pick up the seasonal work, semi-retired people who use it as a little bit of extra money. A lot of it's not your 40-time sort of hour a week personnel, and those are the ones that we predominantly deal with more than what the kiwifruit industry does.
Right, now how heavily do agencies such as yourself, not just talking about First Call Recruitment, but other recruitment agencies and WINS, rely on the kiwifruit season to get people off the unemployment benefit?
We don't focus on getting people off the unemployment. We do work very closely with WINS. When we have labouring roles or roles that we're looking for certain types of personnel, we directly connect with WINS. We also do that when we have more senior roles as well, but there's reasons behind why we do that. I don't know that we'll be affected, but definitely WINS will be. They use it a lot for seasonal stuff to get people off them and earning decent sort of money. A lot of our competitors really don't work in that market either. In fact, I don't think there's many that do. I can only think of one agency that I know have tried to work in the kiwifruit industry. They pretty much have their own HR teams. They regulate themselves, looking after what sort of people they're after, and we do know the tourists feed them a lot, so they come in, they do the work, and then they go tour the rest of the country. Great place to stay and do some work over the winter to have some money for the summer. So yeah, no, it's not really going to affect us too much, but it will affect WINS for sure.
And of course there is the avocado industry, which seems to be doing extremely well in the region at the moment. So what is the way forward so that people can feel confident that there's jobs to apply for and they can start earning money?
We have a lot of work. Definitely the roading industry is going to be very busy. I think they're looking at predicting around about 400 people at peak times. We will have a few, we'll hopefully have a good chunk of that. There are other industries. Tauranga is just not a one-man band. Kiwifruit is not the only thing that we live on. We've got the port. There's lots of other things that will keep us going. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. We've just got to look at being productive. We've got to make decisions. The worst thing the local economy can do is go, I don't know. You've got to decide whether you want to move forward or just stay what you're doing. In that case, we should be fine.
And what advice do you have for people out there that are perhaps looking at changing jobs or getting in, or even just trying to get a job?
Present yourself well. Use a number of agencies. I would never say just use us. There's definitely a lot of good agencies around town. And focus on what you really want, because the worst thing you can do is go, I don't know, and just sort of dabble in a bit of everything. Be really focused on, I want to do this, and find out what skills you need or what qualifications and get it done.
Thanks, Phil, for your time today.
No worries, thank you.
PSA has done more than just damage kiwifruit. Well, after the break, we turn to a bit more of a positive note with Christmas and Kmart's annual Wishing Tree Appeal.